Structural steel, I think, is probably always my go-to when it comes to building materials. Comparatively to other building materials, it has probably the widest range of applications. There's very few scenarios where it doesn't work. And, when you consider its strength and its versatility and its adaptability, it really is probably one of the better options. So my research investigated the behavior of wide flange members when they're subjected to axial load and torsional moment applied at one flange. So this kind of loading scenario, it comes up mainly in pipe rack structures, but in general terms, it would come up anytime you have a beam to column moment connection where that beam is subjected to weak axis bending. Right now, what happens is that when you get these torsional moments applied to these columns, designers don't know how to design for the unstiffened capacity of the member. So this led to them to routinely add full depth stiffeners to this connection. And so although it's conservative and it's not really a concern when it comes to safety, it adds considerable time and cost when you consider the overall fabrication of the structure. So basically what we were trying to do was study the unstiffened capacity of the member so that we then give designers the ability to determine whether or not these stiffeners are actually necessary. And then beyond that, oftentimes designers will say, we want a fully fixed weak axis moment connection, where in reality, without the presence of stiffeners, that's not obtainable. You actually can't even develop that moment that they want you to resist. Ultimately, the unstiffened member, it's quite a flexible connection, and generally speaking, as we said, you can't develop that full moment connection capacity that is often specified in the design documents. And so this is important because it limits the maximum moment that you would even have to design, and then beyond that, once you know what moment can actually develop on that connection, it allows you to determine whether or not stiffeners are actually required. Basically from day one, they were involved in the conversation about, why this is important. And I would say that that's one of the biggest things that you gain from that industry experience is they really help to remind you what the end goal is and what's important, what the real world application is that you're trying to investigate. If I was to give advice to somebody who is starting an MSc with the Steel Center, I would say to jump in head first. Don't be afraid to make mistakes. Take every opportunity, whether it's going to meet industry partners, whether it's TA positions, whether it's lecturing opportunities, any opportunity that you can have to learn, I would say take it, because you will never be in a situation where you have such a wealth of knowledge and experience that's at your disposal. And so I would say just don't be afraid to make mistakes. Do make mistakes.